It's mailbag time here on Chicago Bears Now. Maybe you didn't get on this week's show, but if you want to be on our next mailbag, here's what you got to do. You got to follow me on Twitter at HGramNFL and submit your Bears questions over there. That is a guarantee that you will be on our next mailbag video. So go ahead and do that right now. With that being said, we got a trade mailbag coming up right now. Okay, I'm Harrison Graham. Thanks for everybody who submitted their trades on the community post and our last video. Let's go ahead and get into it. HW's trade proposal, sending the Jets Tashaun Gipson, a first and a third-round pick for, yes, Jamal Adams. Lots of different Jamal Adams trades. I chose this one because it's the most intriguing. A couple of things. So the Jamal Adams did not list the Bears as his preferred destinations, but we do know that he wants out. I like the addition of Gipson here because if you are the New York Jets, you say you want a first and a third. How about a quality safety in return as well? You compare the coverage stats side by side. Gipson's actually really good in coverage. Now, we know with Adams, you know, he's a box safety. He gets after the quarterback as well. He's good in coverage. He's good near the line of scrimmage. He does it all. So, obviously, Jamal Adams is a far superior player than Tashaun Gipson, and he's a lot younger. But, you know, the Jets could bring back Gipson in return and help replace the void that Jamal Adams would leave if he were to get traded by the Jets. Now, this is what the secondary looks like so far for the Chicago Bears. You got Fuller on the outside. Jalen Johnson's going to compete for that number 2 CB role, but that safety spot, could you imagine Jamal Adams next to Eddie Jackson? There would not be a better safety duo in the NFL. There wouldn't be as good of a safety duo since the Legion of Boom back in Seattle with Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor. This would be the best duo since then. I don't think this is going to happen, but this is an intriguing trade proposal from HW. So I'll leave it up to you guys. Would you do this trade? Gipson, first and a third for Jamal Adams. Type Y for yes. Type N for no. I think the Jets would actually heavily consider this. I just don't think Jamal Adams solves all your problems if you're the Bears. Still need some help on offense, especially that offensive line. Speaking of offensive line, Cam IGL threw this idea together. Tariq Cohen and a third to New England for Joe Thuney. Now, a couple of things to factor in here. You know, we've talked about Thuney in the past. The difference now is New England has signed Cam Newton. So would the Patriots still be willing to move on from Joe Thuney? Obviously, they've taken calls in the past. For the right offer, I think that they would have for sure traded Thuney. I wonder if that changes now that they have Cam Newton. Couple of reasons why. You want to protect your quarterback, and B, you're probably staying in win-now mode if you bring in Cam Newton if you're the New England Patriots. But if you get the right offer, maybe New England would do it when they've done weirder trades in the past out of nowhere, so moving Joe Thuney would not, be some huge surprise. And obviously, the Chicago Bears are in desperate need of a right guard. They can keep spinning, Juan Castillo, the new Bears O-line coach. He's going to change everything. They can talk up Germain Ifedi. The reality is Ifedi's been a bust. Rashad Coward's not a much better option at right guard. The Bears need help on the interior of this offensive line, and Joe Thuney would certainly help in that area for the Chicago Bears. I don't expect them to pull the trigger for a Thuney trade, but it is an interesting idea. I think more so at this point, I wonder if the Patriots will actually move him at the end of the day. Deal of the day here on Chicago Bears Now. It's the Stronger Together t-shirts and hoodies. Go ahead and get one today. Chatsports.com/Chicago Strong t-shirts, high quality, less than $20. The hoodies are on sale as well. Goes to a good cause, benefits the COVID-19 relief fund. Fanatics doesn't even take the money there. They put it toward a good cause. So chatsports.com/Chicago Strong. Solid t-shirt. Like I said, high quality. I've got one myself. Go shop today. Put the link in the comments. Put it in the description. Take advantage of this deal right now. Oompa Loompas trade. He is back here. I don't want to make fun of you, the Oompa Loompa, but Trubisky in 2 seconds for Quenton Nelson, not even close. Number one, the Colts are not going to trade the best offensive guard in football. The same offseason they signed Phillip Rivers. Clearly they're trying to win this year. But if for some reason they were going to trade him, it would cost at least a first and probably a first and a second plus more. He is that good of a player, and the reality is, like I said, they're in win-now mode. Quenton Nelson would be awesome for the Bears. He'd be the best Bears offensive lineman by a long shot, but You bring in Phillip Rivers, you're trying to win in 2020, and you don't even offer the Colts a first? You got to raise the ante if you're trying to get Quenton Nelson, in my opinion. These are some names. We talk about some offensive linemen here. Here are some guys still out there that the Bears could potentially target. Larry Warford, Josh Klein, Ron Leary. These are players that Chicago will likely have to feature if they want to upgrade at the right guard spot. You're not getting Quenton Nelson. It's just not realistic, so go ahead and get that idea out of your head because the Colts aren't moving him, and quite frankly, it would cost too much to go and get him at the end of the day. Now, Bears fans, we are closing in on 10,000 subscribers. No one's going to keep you more informed on what's going on than I am, so go ahead and help us get there. Less than 300 away. YouTube.com/Bears now is the link. Share that with a friend. Also, you're just watching the video, just hit that big red subscribe button. Let's get to 10K as soon as possible. All right, Muhammad Islam's trade, a 2021 fifth-round pick for Cam Brate. Pretty simple here. It's intriguing, right? Now, from the Tampa Bay side of things, they would consider this, I think, because Brate might be the odd man out. They got Gronkowski, they got O.J. Howard. Now, they could use all three tight ends, but if they can get a fourth, fifth-round pick for Cam Brate, they'll probably consider that because you don't need three starting caliber tight ends. Now, Brate, it's not a high-level tight end one, but he's a high-level tight end two, and right now he's the third tight end on the Bears depth chart. He still is very, very productive. Look at his last 4 years. The guy finds the end zone. You're talking about a guy with 24 touchdowns over the past 4 seasons. Yeah, sure, he's not going to be a 60-catch guy and have 850 yards and 10 touchdowns, but he can give you 400 or 500 yards potentially and 5 or 6 touchdowns. Now, a lot of you guys are probably asking, isn't that what you brought in Jimmy Graham for? Sure, I'm not saying the Bears need to go hunt and get Cam Brate. Jimmy Graham and Cole Kmet can probably hold down the fort, but he's certainly an upgrade from Demetrius Harris. And then it also takes the pressure off Kmet in year one, as a rookie tight end in the NFL. I don't hate this idea. I don't think it's necessary, but for a fifth-round pick, a quality player like Cam Brate could certainly do a lot worse in terms of value than that. How confident are you in the Bears' current tight end group? Scale it from 1 to 10. 10 being, this is the best tight end group in the NFL. 1 being, it's worse than last year, which can't be the case because at least the Bears added Jimmy Graham and Cole Kmet. Put it at about a 5 or 6. I need to see how Kmet comes in. Is Jimmy Graham washed? I think he's got a little left in the tank. Not super confident, but it's certainly better than what it was a year ago. Xavier Thomas, he puts this one together. The Bears sending Cordero Patterson and a third-round pick for Andy Isabella. For those of you who don't know, Isabella, the second-year speedster out of UMass who didn't get a lot of run last year for the Cardinals, but when he did get a couple of opportunities, did show out well. And you look at the Cardinals' depth chart, they got a lot of receivers. Now, Fitzgerald's not going to play forever, 1, maybe 2 more years. So, if you project ahead, Isabella's going to have a bigger role, but they got DeAndre Hopkins, who they traded for. Christian Kirk isn't going anywhere, I don't think. Hakeem Butler's a player they drafted last year as well. They could move on from a player like Isabella if the trade package is right. Now, you look at the stat, 9 catches, $189, and a touchdown. Didn't get a lot of opportunities last year, but he did have an 88-yard touchdown, and his speed is absolutely legitimate. He's a sub 4.3 guy coming out of UMass. He would offer much-needed speed on this Bears offense. Could you imagine him running verticals on the opposite side of Allen Robinson while Anthony Miller is working the slot? That's got potential. I think Andy Isabella is going to continue to improve as an NFL receiver. Maybe Patterson in a third is a little bit rich for Andy Isabella, but I would still probably do it because the Bears haven't figured out how they want to use Patterson in this offense. It's pretty simple how you use Isabella. Special teams value and tell him to go deep. That's what he can give you, short passes as well. What should the Bears do with Cordero Patterson? Type K for keep him, type T for trade him, type C for cut him. Obviously, you can save almost $4 million by cutting him. I think they're going to keep him, but I would explore a trade unless they, have changed their minds about how they plan on using him this year because I did not see much of that last year from this Bears coaching staff. Michael Rosian is next up here. Matt Nagy for Bill Belichick. That's my trade suggestion. Or John Gruden, pick one. Well, thanks, guys, for watching the show. I appreciate everybody who submitted their questions. We will see you next time here on Chicago Bears Now.